How to install an electric sliding gate. Difficulty level 2 hammers. Open and close your gate simply by pressing a button. Electric gates make daily life easier. You will need a sliding gate opening kit, electric cables, electric conduits, a coaxial cable, a tube of chemical sealant, and some threaded rods. You will need a tape measure, a pencil, a spirit level, a drill, a socket set, an extruder gun, a hammer, an electrician's screwdriver, and a crosshead screwdriver. Before beginning work on installing the electric gates, turn off the power at the supply. If you only turn off the power on a specific circuit RCD, check the circuit is no longer live using a multimeter. Before you buy, you should specify that you wish to install electric gates. You will find some gates, such as those made from aluminium, are strengthened by a metal subframe concealed alongside the lower cross member. Check that the width and the weight of your gate are suitable for the gate opening kit model that you intend to buy. You will find these details in the opening kit's information sheet. Check that your gate slides easily without getting stuck. Remove the unnecessary striking plate and the lock, as the opening kit will keep the gate locked. Fit the gate guide to the side of the upright, about a meter from the bottom of the gate. Close the gate and position the striking plate opposite the guide. Mark the holes to drill and fix it in place. You will need a 230-volt earthed electricity supply through armored cable for the motor. This circuit must be protected by an RCD switch, which in turn is connected to a 30 mA circuit breaker in your distribution board. For a length of cable of up to 30 meters, you can use cabling of 1.5 square millimeters, and beyond that, use 2.5 square millimeter cabling. There should be a 2-wire connection of 0.5 square millimeters from the motor to power and communicate with the photoelectric cells, the flashing light, and possibly a key switch. The aerial is connected by coaxial cable. Consult the installation guide to find the best place for the motor. If there are no recommendations for its position, make space for the cable conduits and bury the 2 threaded hooks into the new concrete foundation before it sets. Then adjust them, attaching the 2 hooks to the base of the motor, checking with the spirit level. If the motor needs a support, you should fix a bracket in place with a threaded clamping rod held by chemical sealant. Begin by cutting the electric conduits to the right length. Mark the position of the motor base and the anchor points on the cement. Drill the holes, vacuum up the debris, and inject chemical sealant. Insert the threaded rods with a nut, leaving 36 mm sticking out. Then place the base on top and allow the sealant to set according to the manufacturer's instructions. Open the side cover of the motor unit and feed the electric cables carefully inside, leaving 40 to 50 centimeters of free cable. Position the motor on the base plate, ensuring that it is completely parallel with the gate. Place the washers and nuts onto the threaded rods and tighten completely. Access the motor gearing through a small opening and disconnect. Open the gate fully and position the first segment of the rack on top of the motor gear. Allow the rack to extend 17 centimeters beyond the motor gear. Check it is level, leaving 1 mm play between the rack and the gear. Then, mark the drill holes. Screw the first segment of the rack in place with self-tapping screws. Then fix the remaining segments in place. Cut the racks to fit if necessary to ensure it does not extend beyond the width of the gate. Slide the gate from side to side several times to ensure the gear turns freely on the rack. Open the gate and position the closing stop plate on the rack following the installation instructions. The stop plate is attached using hexagonal bolts. Do the same with the closing plate. The cables needed for the photoelectric cells should be around 50 centimeters from the ground and less than 15 centimeters from the gate. They are positioned facing each other and monitor the side area of the gate. If your remaining trunking stops at the foot of the posts, fix an extra section of trunking to raise the cables. Take the photoelectric cell apart and place it against a pillar, marking the drill holes. Drill and insert wall plugs, inserting the cables through the base before screwing the cell to the pillar. Connect the photoelectric cell to its terminals. Replace the cover and do the same with the other photoelectric cell. It must be visible from the road and from inside to indicate the gate is opening. You should place it on top of a pillar or other vertical surface. Remove the cover and unscrew the base, threading the cables through. Cut the cables to fit and mark the fixing holes. Remove, drill, insert the plugs, replace the base, and screw in place. Connect the warning light cables to the flashing light terminal block. Fit the central pin of the aerial coaxial cable on the left next to the shield cable. Reassemble all the parts of the flashing light. Place the motor on the left or the right-hand side. The opening direction will be determined by the position of the jumper, shown in the installation guide. Connect all the cables to the logic control device terminals, according to the installation guide. There are free terminals available for any future optional devices purchased, such as extra photoelectric cells, a switch key, or a battery. When everything is connected, join the cables together with cable ties. The cables at the side should be connected to the main supply, and the cable should be held in place by a cable tie. Make sure everything is in place one last time before turning on the power. Once power is connected to the logic control device, you can try out different operating commands. If you take the installation of the electric sliding gate kit one step at a time, any do-it-yourself enthusiast is capable of doing it.